have a sexual harassment at workplace committee set up by the government of Goa, and I'm its chairperson for North Goa, and Nirmala is one of the members of the panel. As it has been said that sexual harassment comes in very many forms and intensities, and many people before me speaking on the subject have said that it is violence or any kind of trauma to a woman is from womb to tomb. So we have sexual harassment at workplace, we have sexual harassment in marriage, we have sexual harassment in homes, and various studies have proved over a long period of time that the harassment mostly takes place by a person who is known to you. That is the highest figure given. The next is a person who is a friend or a neighbor, and the strangers who would do such a thing are the last on the list. Now, instead of going into the details about the research and the data and the figures, I think what this particular whole exercise is to find some kind of solution and to come up with some ideas as to how we can combat the sexual harassment of women at various places in their lives, because a woman can be harassed at home. A child, a 3-year-old child is known to have been raped in Goa a few years ago by her grand-uncle, I think it was. And then you have a 50-year-old woman who was raped while she went to do her plantation somewhere in the interiors of Goa. School girls are harassed all the times in buses, in schools, by teachers, by peons, by security people, and what have you. And the transport system in Goa and everywhere else in the country has to be upgraded and looked into very deeply. I will not spend much time, and I seriously, I was asked to speak to my panelists, and I think I managed to speak to only one. Who is that?
That's me.
Okay. And and Tanya, who is Tanya? You are Tanya, okay. And so she's very much in with the whole subject out here. So I would request the panelists to share your views on the subject with a focus on what can be done to prevent, identify this thing, and maybe set up some kind of a punitive mechanism, which is already there. We have tried to amend the Indian Penal Code, the criminal sections. I have been on various panels with even the parliamentarians trying to set up right from the beginning the PNDT to the definition of rape and to amending the sections also for sexual abuse on minors. So there has been a continuous effort, but I think young minds need to step in and have a different take on the subject, because I think whatever we have been doing has been done and tried, and we have not been very successful. So youth, with their ingenuity, with their novel ideas, with their lateral thinking, I think you're the most in thing today to look into these subjects and provide with the alternate methods of handling the issue. Kindly step in and share your views.
Just to introduce myself, my name is Mukta and I take care of the HR at Kenilworth. Coming straight to the point, I'm very glad that a topic like sexual harassment is being discussed in such a forum. Because I personally believe that the main reason for such an evil to exist is because people deny talking about it. People are shy, people are embarrassed, people are scared. Will action be taken or will I only be talked about? Just to give an example, since I'm in the HR, I come across such cases. While on my evening walk, I just found a girl who was crying and she just said, "Ma'am, I want to go home early." She's not telling the reason, she's just saying, "Ma'am, I want to go home early." So I took her to the office, gave her a cup of coffee. After that, she opened that somebody had touched her in a place where she was not supposed to be touched. So I said, "Why didn't you complain to your HOD? Why didn't you come to my office?" She said, "No, that man has been here from the last 30 years. He's also a member of the union. So I don't think anything will be done about that. Besides, I will be made a mockery of. Everybody will be talking about me. I'll not be able to work here." So this is the main reason why the people who indulge in such activities get all the courage to do this, because we don't talk about it. What will happen? If we don't talk, nothing will happen. Something might happen if we talk about it. So as she already has mentioned, sexual harassment is everywhere, from buses to trains. It happens in schools, workplace, and even at home. You know, there is another side to it as well, where the innocent are being victimized through this sexual harassment medium. Again, to give an example, there was I got a complaint from a girl saying that her supervisor has tried to touch her. On investigation, all my staff said that that man is not like that, he cannot do it. On further investigation, we could not prove anything, but it was clear that that man was not involved in any kind of sexual harassment, and she had complained because he had shouted at her for some goof up that she had done in her workplace. So even such things happen. But even though we knew he is innocent, we had to transfer him from one section to another. So he was victimized indirectly. My only thing is, while we are finding suggestions to this topic, while we are ensuring that the victims are not traumatized, we also have to ensure that the innocent are not victimized.
Yeah, to begin with, I'm Sneha. I'm an aspiring lawyer, and there's something about sexual harassment. You know, when Armand asked me, can you speak on it? I said yes. Now, something very funny happened yesterday, and I was driving back home, and there was a guy, notorious looking character, and he was on his bike, and he was right in front of me, and there was a lady crossing the road. So it was at a peak hour of 1 o'clock. I was returning home, and I happened to see that she's right in front of me. So normal tendency what you have when you're driving, you're behind the wheel, you see somebody crossing, you honk, maybe twice or thrice. She got cautioned by it. This man, he takes a turn, he stops his bike, he shows his finger at me, and he starts hurling abuses. See, sexual harassment usually we think is only about groping or getting physically close to somebody. No, this is also a form of sexual harassment, I may say, because I am empowered to challenge him under section 354 for outraging my modesty. So my next step was, what should I do? Should I let go of it? You know, I went home, I took a turn, and I came back. I was like, no, this is going to eat up for the rest of my day if I don't do anything about it. I went to him. He had parked his bike somewhere, and then with the most polite manner, see, I could have blasted him and all. I said, no, there's no point doing that. And I said, see, just to bring to your notice, I was not honking at you, I was honking at somebody else, and that does not give you any right to show your finger and hurl abuses right in the middle of the road. And it was very bad. So I asked him, let's switch roles. If it was your sister or your mother, how would you feel if somebody had to do that to you? Acha chalo, you know, fine. Let's say I had to honk at him. But tell me something, do I deserve to be shown the finger? I don't think so. There's nothing wrong. And do you think I deserve to be heard abuses at? Definitely not, yeah. Which society are we living in? This basically, you know, I was just talking to a few of my professors about it. Why do certain people have this thinking? The most infamous word right now, intolerant. Yes, but it's not just intolerance. It's the sense of, you know, cultural upbringing that's gone wrong somewhere. You know, in Goa especially, not to bring anybody down, but we often have this tendency, Maza Baba Baro, Pai tu Garabas. Few sections of the society, they have that thinking, they feel they have a guy who's going to take forward the lineage, he is the master. But the thing is that just the other day, I happened to have a talk with my mom, and she asked me, so what are you preparing for the talk? And I said, yes, but I'm not going to, you know, go and speak. I don't have a script ready or something. I'm just going to go and speak my mind. So she's like, what are you going to speak on? This topic, sexual harassment. So I said, Mama, I'm just going to highlight the fights we have. She said, what are you saying? Sexual harassment, what are you saying? So I just mentioned, see Mama, this is a very funny thing. She always tells me that I'm still dependent on my parents for money. So she tells me I need to curb my expenses. Every second day I get lectures. You spend so much, you do this, that. I know, I understand I need to curb it. She told me, now it's your father's money. After a few years when you're married, you're going to spend your husband's money. You're answerable to him. I said, Mom, stop. I don't think I'm answerable to my husband. See, there's a difference between being answerable or accountable to and sharing certain things with your husband. Yes, it's my hard-earned money. I would love to use it the way I want. But as far as being answerable to my parents are concerned, yes, very much answerable to the people who have given birth to me. But as far as being accountable accountable to somebody is concerned, I feel it's always been a lady's role to be accountable for something she does. While when she's married, be accountable to her husband. In her old age, be accountable to her son. So I just happened to have this conversation with her, and she's like, you know what, you're useless. That's what she told me. If this is the approach you want to have, I see no future for you. So I said, okay, fine. So basically what I'm trying to highlight here is, it's not very difficult to see, to have your children at par. I mean, just keep them at par. Let's not have that mentality wherein, a boy is superior to a girl or a girl is superior to a boy. Just keep them at par, that's what I'm saying. Lastly, I'll just conclude by saying, there's a law for everything. Like, till the year 1997, sexual harassment, it's always been there. There was nothing concrete, in India to face such problems. A lady facing sexual harassment only had to report under IPC 354 and 294 and she was done. You needed some concrete law to, curb this particular thing, especially sexual harassment in work. We came up with something called as Vishaka guidelines. Vishaka guidelines are something which spoke purely of sexual harassment in place of work. So this is what, and now we have a new act which is in 2013. I can see ma'am smiling there. I heard that she wanted to speak on, we're discussing this about the act. Yeah, yes. And now we have another act in 2013 which was passed. And I just hope, there are a lot of facts. Awareness is not there basically. We need to do something to create the awareness so that everybody knows where we stand. Thank you.
My name is Tanya Shirodkar and I'm a professor at one of the colleges in Panjim. Just to talk a little bit more about the sexual harassment, there is a huge role that probably culture plays into this. I'm sure my panelists would agree with that, because it is said that whatever the man does is acceptable and it has to be accepted by the woman. Even in marriages, we do experience sexual harassment and sexual abuse. But there are very few women who actually open up and come up and actually talk about it. It is said that whatever the man does or whatever the male does is something that one needs to keep quiet on, or because women should not come out and speak about such things in the open. And there's a lot of biases as well that we are brought up with itself right from the time that we are young. Certain things men are supposed to do, certain things women are supposed to do, or certain things women are not supposed to do, and certain things men are not supposed to do. These are the different biases that I agree, and somewhere down the line this thing continues to play on our minds, or rather many women's minds, which often results in things that we don't want to go and report, or we don't want to go and talk about it, and we try to keep quiet and say, okay, let's just keep quiet about it. For example, I have seen cases, I'm also a counselor, and I've seen cases where girls would come and talk about how they have been sexually abused, or probably their husbands, or probably their boyfriends. But then they would keep quiet and say, no, we don't want to go and report anything, or we don't want to go and complain about anything. There are laws, there are things in place, but how far are we empowered as women to actually go and make use of those laws and make use of whatever is there? Probably that is somewhere where even we women or even men need to come up and empower women to further go ahead if anything like this takes place.
My name is Jane Rodrigues, and when I was 15, I took part in a national essay writing on-the-spot competition organized by Nehru Bal Sangh as one of the prize winners from Maharashtra. I'm Goan, and the topic was Women Can Rule the World. While trying to get information on Women Can Rule the World, I found out, of course, there were a lot of women who were heads of countries at that time. But the sad part was that while talking to women, speaking to relatives, I found that there were a lot of people who were having a lot of problems at the age of 15. Anyway, we had to go to New Delhi, stay in camps, interacting with other students from other states. Again, you realize that your culture, your religion, the state, your family, the number of brothers in your house, all plays a big role in your way of thinking. And then, because of Facebook, of course, the organization found me back again, and I'm secretary of the Goa unit of the Nehru Bal Sangh, and we are going on organizing programs for youth. I personally feel that all this starts with all of us, having programs for youth, organizing competitions like this for school students where they get to know about their rights.